And then in ayat number 175, Surah Imran, Surah number 3, ayat number 175, look what Allah says. Allah says, Innama zalikumus shaitan, that kind of a fear. Innama zalikumus shaitanu yukhawwifu awliya. That was the shaitan whispering you about the fear of the worldly situations. It was shaitan that was trying to create a fear in you. Allah says, do not fear them, but fear me. In kuntum mu'minin, if you truly are Muslim believers, then don't fear the situations around the world. Fear me, because nobody can do anything to you as a harm unless I support you. If Allah supports us, nobody can harm us. But if Allah doesn't support us, then the harm comes to us. And what does Allah say in the next ayat? Allah says, وَلَا يَحْزُنْكَ الَّذِينَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْكُفْرِ. Those people who are dancing in kufr, who are delighted in disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you look around, you feel they are so strong. Everything in this world, it is in their hand. They can do anything. And then Allah says, إِنَّهُمْ لَنْ يَضُرُّ اللَّهَ شَيْئًا. They cannot harm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. They can never harm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all. Yuridullahu, instead Allah has a plan for them. What is the plan? Allah yaj'ala lahum hazzan fil akhirah. Allah wants to give them a severe, disgracing punishment of day of judgment. Walahum azabun azim, and they will be turned towards a very severe punishment. Walladhina ishtarawul kufra bil iman. Whoever purchased disbelief by selling away their iman. What does that mean? You compromise on so many things of Islam today. Allah says, if you have done this for this worldly life, then remember, لَن يَضُرُّ اللَّهَ شَيْئًا. Then none of you with anything can harm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the least bit. You cannot do any harm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I have a small question to all of you. Have you pondered on the ayat that I recited? Two ayat I recited, 175 and 176. Allah is saying, the kufr, or the people who disbelieve, they are planning everything. They are trying to do everything to harm whom? To harm whom? To? Am I right? They are doing everything to harm us. So Allah should say, they can do nothing to you. But Allah is saying, they cannot do anything to Allah. Anyway, they can't do anything to Allah. Anyway, they can't see Allah. Anyway, they can't fight Allah. But why did Allah say this? This is Kitabul Hakim, Quran al-Hakim. It's full of wisdom. It wants you and me to ponder on this book. Allah is talking about the kufr, about the disbelief and the disbelievers, doing everything to harm you and me. But when it comes to the matter of harm, Allah says they can't harm me. And we know they can't harm Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But why is that mentioning there? There is a reason for that. What was the dua the Sahaba and Ibrahim alayhi salam made? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. We have full trust in Allah. He is the best to protect us. Wakil means, what does the advocate do? On your behalf, he fights the case. He is the one who is fighting on your behalf. He is the one who is protecting you. He is the one who is taking care of your affair. Am I right or wrong? Very simple to understand that. So Allah is saying, if I am your wakil, when I am saying they can't harm me, there is no way they can harm you. I am your protector. I am protecting you. If they can't harm me, they can never harm you. But unfortunately, when we don't put the trust in Allah and deviate from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the harm comes to us. Then we get harmed. When we don't put the complete trust the way the Sahaba and Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam put in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we deviate away from the path of Islam, then the trouble comes to us. And Allah is saying they can't harm me, meaning they can't harm your protector. If they can't harm your protector, then your protector is always there to protect you. Don't worry about them. Forget them. And what does Allah say? وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Let not those who do kufr, who disbelieve, who disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّمَا نَمْلُوا لَهُمْ خَيْرٌ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Let them not think that this easiness of the world that we have given them, all the victory that they are gaining in this world against Muslims and thinking that they are doing harm to Islam, let them not think that this is for their good. Let them not think this is going to benefit them. Innama lahum numli yazdadu isma. This deal, this leisure, this loose rope we have left so that they keep on increasing in their sins against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walahum azabum muhin. And very soon we will pull them to a very, very serious punishment. Suppose there is a blind man. And this blind man was stuck up somewhere. And suddenly you came and you told him, oh, I'll guide you. Just start running straight. Don't take a right turn. Don't take a left turn. And this man, he trusts you. He thinks, okay, I couldn't see. I didn't know whether to go to the right, left. You understand the situation? There is a blind man. And he is afraid that if he runs somewhere, there may be a pit. There may be a pit of fire and he will fall. And now you came to him and said, straight if you go, you will save yourself. And he starts running till he finally jumps actually into the pit of fire. He was blind. So when you leave the Quran and Sunnah, Allah makes you blind by faith and Shaitan starts guiding you and protecting you. And where will the Shaitan guide you? It promised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It promised. I gave you the ayat.